X Nordics may be the latest game in the long-running X series, but does it sink or does it swim? Let's find out in the review. Now, I'm a newcomer to the X series. Having started with X 9, I'm not one of those old road dogs that have been here since the beginning. I have played 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, which is amazing, by the way, and 10 is my third game in the series that I've played. The nice thing about X is you can start at any point. It doesn't matter that you haven't played the first one. Other than the protagonist and a few extra characters sprinkled here and there, everything is completely different. Every game is a new adventure, and Adol Christensen is there for the adventure. In this adventure, Adol is sailing the high seas, heading to his next adventure, when a new adventure is thrust upon him, one he wasn't planning on. He is stopped by Nordics and forced to port at a nearby town. Upon going there, he learns about mana and the ability hidden deep within him. He also becomes shield brethren with Karja, forced to save the people of Karnak. I say forced, but not really forced. To save the people of Karnak that have been overrun and overtaken by the vicious Grieger. It is up to Karja and Adol to not only save these people, but to uncover the mysteries surrounding these high seas. I definitely enjoyed the story of X Nordics. I do think it is a stronger story than X 9, which wasn't a bad story or anything like that. It's not as good as X 8. I do think that is probably the best of the 3 that I've played. I do feel like there are parts in the story, especially early on, that were kind of lackluster and just felt like you were doing the same thing over and over. Yeah, you were progressing the story slowly, but overall it just felt like I was rescuing somebody. Once I rescued them, I went to rescue another person and another person, another person. It wasn't until about chapter 5 or 6 of the 10 chapters that I felt like I was actually doing more than just rescuing the people of Karnak. Now let's talk about gameplay. Gameplay, there's a lot of things that they do different. Some of them work, some of them don't really work that great, and we'll discuss that now. Now, in Nordics, you play as Adol and Karja, and that's it. You don't have anybody else that you play with. Now, in 8 and 9, you do have about 6 other characters that you're swapping in and out from. One thing that I loved about those games is it felt like it was a Metrovania-style JRPG, where I would swap to one of these characters to get a chest that I couldn't get before, or there'd be vines, and I couldn't get up to those vines until I got climbing gloves, and different things that I would do with these characters that would allow me to collect these other things that I just wasn't able to do before. And that's not the case in this one. In this one, you're only playing as Adol and Karja, and that's it. I do think it kind of works, though. It's fun, and it makes it to where you're not overly trying to manage all these people. You're only focused on these 2 people. And for me, it worked. It was a little bit weird not having to, do 6 different people's stats and abilities and all that stuff, but it worked only having to worry about 2. I will say, though, the Metrovania style gameplay that I did enjoy from 8 and 9 isn't really there. There are moments where there's things you can't really get until you get a new object or a new ability, but it's not really too much. A lot of the times, it's you see a barrier that you can't get through, and at that exact moment, you now have the ability to get through it. So I didn't really get any of those, okay, now I have to go back to this area because now I have this ability moment. Instead, it was, oh, here's something I can't pass. Oh, wait, now I can. Oh, there's some twigs that I can't get through. Now I can. It just kind of felt like the things I enjoyed from the other ones in that aspect aren't there. Now, if that was something that did annoy you from the previous ones, then, this is probably going to be great news to you. Now, Nordic doesn't just have land travel and land exploration, you also have to explore the high seas. There's a lot of cool things that happen with this. Being able to update your boat, as you collect more and more people from Karnak, your boat's abilities get better and you get stronger on your boat. You can swap in and out different attacks, different weapons, things like that. The boat combat is fun. I do feel, though, this is one of the downsides of the game, and I'll explain why. The boat transportation is probably my least favorite thing about the game. It is slow, it is clunky, it just isn't there. I felt like early on in the game, when you're first getting the boat, it is so slow to where if I was to get out of the boat and be able to Jesus run on water, I would be faster than the boat. You get these mana charges that allow you to do a boost of speed, but those boosts of speed only last like 2 seconds, and you have to wait for them to recharge. It makes traveling a lug. It makes it to where you don't want to go exploring early on because your boat is just so slow. You get through it, you manage, but it's just annoying. Also, during combat and everything like that, it's kind of hard to maneuver the boat at times. It just doesn't work. It's clanky. You have to hold the circle button to come to a complete stop to be able to make some of the turns, when you should just be able to, move the boat in a way that boats would move. And unfortunately, you have to be at a complete stop sometimes to make some of the turns that just wouldn't work if you're at a complete stop. I did enjoy the boat aspect in total. Being able to travel the high seas and go to islands and unexplored areas was fun. And the combat on the boat was fun as well. I didn't have any issues with that. I just think some of the executions with the movement just wasn't there. Combat in East is smooth. It is fun. If you've played any of the other games, you're going to know it's the same exact way. However, they do change it up. Like I said, with there only being 2 players in this, Adal and Karja, they make it to where you become shield brethren. And in doing so, you can hold R2 and combine your strength together to do super attacks, more powered abilities, stuff like that. There is a really good sense of teamwork between these two, and it really works well with the game. I think they did a great job of making it to where they're only focusing on these 2 characters and fleshing it out just fantastically. I enjoyed only having to worry about these 2 people and being able to play as both of them. The gameplay is solid and just very, very fun and fluid. I didn't really run into any issues with the game. The game runs fantastic. However, there are a few graphical bugs, like seeing the sails. Shadows of the sails will sometimes move like robotically during cinemas and stuff, which really take away from watching the cinema. The game runs great though. I didn't run into any issues with bugs or anything like that. I will say graphically, I don't really care about graphics too much in games, but the fact that this game looks almost identical to East 9, it's not pushing the series forward graphically, which would be cool to see. I'm not taking anything away from graphics because, they don't look bad or anything like that. I would have just liked to see a leap forward in the series between East 9 and 10. I think they could have definitely did that, especially with this game being built from the PS5 or newer consoles and not from the PS4 generation. X Nordics is a great game, and like I said, you do not have to play any of the other ones to be able to play this game, and I highly suggest doing it. If you have not tried out this series, it is a must play, and it's definitely one of my favorite JRPG series after only playing a few games, so definitely suggest giving it a try. I would give X Nordics an 8.5 out of 10. If you have any questions about the game, let me know in the comments down below. As always, this has been Chris with Platinum Reviews. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. As always, keep getting those trophies, and I will catch you on the next video.